They also talked tonight about several issues related to race, the Black Lives Matter movement, police mistreatment. Bernie Sanders saying anybody who dies in police custody, there should be a Justice Department investigation. He talked about demilitarizing police forces, and he said police forces need to look like the communities in which they serve, and there has to be a way to force that, essentially.
They were playing straight to the African American and minority base, and that was very obvious to me, because in either party, each party needs a certain amount of the African American vote. George W. Bush showed that when he brought up the African American community to 13%, it really helped him. But that actually bothers me, especially on points with Black Lives Matter, gun control, and those issues. The minimum wage. I always want to ask people, okay, minimum wage goes up, but what else goes up? Milk, gas, clothing, daycare. And so every time you raise something without a ceiling or a cap, then people get so excited about it, but not seeing what it really costs them in the end. So it's very obvious to me that as a base, they are pretty much assuming that the African American vote has been bought, and that's very disturbing to me.
There was a lengthy discussion on several of those topics. Also climate change, Kirsten, and there was definitely some punching at the GOP, saying, on this stage, we Democrats believe in science, unlike the GOP. Bernie Sanders said the GOP is owned by the fossil fuel industry. Whether he meant they refuse to acknowledge science, they don't believe it, or they've been paid to not believe it. I mean, it was clear that this group thought that's a big issue that their base cares about.
Oh, it is. I mean, that's just a softball for them. It's an easy one. That they all agree on it, basically. It's almost, let's just put it out there and move on. But I want to go back to the Black Lives Matter issue. I think to watch Hillary Clinton tonight was to watch her just really overtly appeal to African American voters. It's very, very clear that she can't win the election without them. And she knows that. And Bernie Sanders has much more of an appeal to white voters. He doesn't do as well with black voters, at least at this point. You know, and so it's interesting, in her closing statement, she talked about Flint, Michigan, what's happening there. But she also pointed out this is basically saying this is happening because they're not white. You know, really doing a very overt appeal in that way, and talking about Black Lives Matter had the line of something, it's a reality that Black Lives Matter actually less, so I think that, you know, it's clear that this is something that she's taking very seriously.
But can I ask this? What has she done as the First Lady of the United States, as a senator and the Secretary of State for African Americans before now? Somebody at least needs to ask that question.
Well, she is beating, apparently, Bernie Sanders 2-1 by 2-1 margin with minority voters, so he knows he's got some room.
But what has she done for the community? That's what I'm saying. And so is this all politics playing to a base, or is it